Hello, my name is Rachel Castle, Senior Public Affairs and Policy Officer at Volunteering England. Volunteering England is the national development agency for England, linking research, policy, innovation, good practice and grant making in the involvement of volunteers. Our members are drawn from the public, private and voluntary sectors and include volunteer centres, national charities, NHS trusts, arts and sports organisations and local community projects. So today I've been asked to talk about our work with Parliament and with the new government. So I'm going to start with looking at what we did before the election and then look at what we did after the election, and I'm going to follow up with a question to you all, hopefully to stimulate some debate at the end. So firstly, before the election. Our public affairs strategy has focused on raising the profile of volunteering and ensuring our elected representatives understand the wider context in which volunteering takes place and the support that's required. Before the election, we began with a volunteering hustings event with all three parties represented. So we had Angela Smith, Nick Hurd and Jenny Willett. Over 100 people came along. It was great to see so many people from the voluntary sector turn up to this event, and it meant the question and answer session really stimulated debate. We also got good media coverage in Third Sector magazine, which was also really good. At this event, we also launched our volunteering manifesto and pledge. This was the first time we'd produced a manifesto, and it was really useful for us to crystallise our key messages to government. So our key four messages, just in summary, were that government should emphasise the importance of volunteering in helping solve today's social problems, invest in the organisations and systems that support volunteering, free volunteers from unnecessary bureaucracy, and then finally promote positive messages about volunteering. We asked MPs and prospective candidates to sign up to the pledge, to work hard to support volunteers both in their constituencies and across the country. Although I know a lot of organisations have created pledges, we found it really useful to find out who supported volunteering and also enabled us to start a really valuable dialogue with MPs. So over 350 prospective candidates signed up to the pledge from across all three main parties, and 124 of those are now MPs, which is nearly 20% of the Parliament. The key now is to maintain relationships with these MPs, trying to be as helpful as we can be in keeping them up to date with the latest developments. Although ultimately the success of this strategy will depend on how well we can build on these relationships with MPs over the coming Parliament and effectively engage them when or if issues come up. Okay, on to after the election. So with the new Parliament elected, we wanted to maintain momentum. So we organised a parliamentary event in Volunteers Week, which is the first week in June. This was an opportunity for new MPs to meet volunteers from some of our partner organisations, including Time Bank, BTCV, YouthNet, the National Trust and the London Cadets, and also to give them the opportunity to write a thank you message to volunteers in their constituencies. We took photos and drafted a press release, and as a result many MPs got into their local press for supporting Volunteers Week, which was good for us as well as them. So in all, 50 MPs turned up, which was great, most of whom were new Conservative MPs, but obviously Labour and Lib Dems were also supported the week. And really, for me, the event gave us the chance to chat to those MPs with an interest in volunteering and make note of where their particular interests lie, whether that's youth volunteering, environmental, supporting local community groups, or just wanting to encourage more people to get involved. So secondly, we wrote to all the relevant ministers to put forward the issues that we felt really needed addressing. This ranged from writing to the Department of Work and Pensions about communicating benefit rules clearly so that people are not put off volunteering while on benefits, to writing to the Department of Health to emphasise the importance of implementing the volunteering strategy for health and social care. We're currently planning fringe events at each of the party conferences in the autumn in collaboration with the National Trust to spark debate on volunteering in a big society. The title of these events will be Power to the People. We believe this will be a good opportunity to look at the government's plans for getting people involved. Speakers will include ministers and shadow ministers. So we've got Nick Hurd, Andrew Stunnell, who's the DCLG Minister, the Liberal Democrat, and Paul Goggins, the Shadow Cabinet Office Minister. and also representatives from local government, for example Steve Reed, the leader of Lambeth Council. The local government angle is particularly important given the drastic budget cuts they are currently undergoing and the effect that this will have on the voluntary sector. The National Trust also has some specific insights onto how to engage people at a local level, so we feel that this will be a chance to consider the interplay between national and local policy objectives. So these fringe events are open to all conference delegates, so please do come along if you are at the conferences. So in conclusion, really, I feel like a real success of our work has been partnership working. I found it hugely beneficial to work with partner organisations. For example, in getting MPs to sign the pledge, many volunteer centres and local charities wrote to their MPs asking for their support, which was very effective. I think the local connection may become more important as big society plans move forwards. Okay, so I've been asked to end this presentation with a question. So, with the government's focus on decentralisation, handing power back to local authorities and local communities, I was wondering what other people feel this means for our campaigns. Has anyone been focusing more on local authorities instead of central government? And if so, how have they done this? Thank you very much for listening. I look forward to your questions.